Hey Synth Dragons. So today I wanted to work on a pad on the Minilogue XD that kind of has some random pitch modulation that sounds like a defective tape with a lot of wow and flutter, or possibly a defective VHS tape. So I'm going to call this a VHS pad, I guess, because that's unique. Not really. But anyway, so let's go ahead and start with an init patch. And let's tune our synth. So press and hold shift, press record, and that'll go ahead and tune the synth. And we're going to make a pad, so we'll work on the attack and release here in a second, and then we'll work on the filter. So for the attack, let's go ahead on the amp envelope. We want to have a bit of attack. I don't like too long of pads. And then let's go ahead and add some release. Alright, starting to sound kind of bad-like, except we need to add a little bit of filter cutoff. By a little bit, I mean a lot, because we want this to sound lo-fi. So let's cut off about a little more than half here. Alright, that sounds pretty cool. Now, this is where all the magic happens. So the LFO built into the Minilogue only has so many wave shapes. They're not very interesting. You have square, you have triangle, and you have saw. Now what we're going to do is totally bypass that and use motion sequencing instead. On the VCO1, which is what we're using, make sure you have the pitch knob set to 0. Physically set to 0. This is very important because we're going to manually move it from that point while it's recording the motion. So once you did that, go ahead and press the play button on the sequencer. Let's bring the tempo all the way down to 56 here, which is the lowest it'll go in this mode. Press the motion sequencing button, which turns the synth into motion sequencing mode, or the sequencer I should say, and then press the record button. Now what the synth is doing is it's waiting for you to move any of the knobs, and it'll record those changes. So let's go ahead, now that it's set at 0, we're going to change the pitch a little bit. And we're going to do a few random jerks in there. Be a little smooth about it, but then add a few little up and down motions. So like here, I'm going up, jerking it down, and then up. Okay, so now it's playing back the motion sequence. Go. You have some of that instant vapor wave slash synth wave aesthetic going on. We can make it a little more interesting too by using the effects section that is built into the Minilogue. And we're going to use the tape delay obviously because this is going to be a tape sound. So switch this over to the delay section, turn it on, and then press the exit button here so you can see what we're actually doing from the motion view. And let's go through, and we're going to find tape. Tape is in there. Let's go ahead and set the time all the way up. I like a nice long amount of time there. And the depth controls the feedback in tape mode. So let's add that to around 70%. So let's listen to that now. Sounds pretty cool. Let's go ahead and turn the cutoff down a little even more. A little less cutoff even. Just mess with the cutoff. This is kind of just like a demonstration of what you can do with the motion sequencer to get that modulation that you really need for this. So you're going to want to experiment with it. Maybe that's a little too much. So we can go ahead and tweak that a little bit. Go back into the motion mode, press and hold shift and press the rest button. That clears the motion sequencing. So we're gonna actually, sorry about that. Let's double check that the pitch is set to 0. We're still set at 0, that's good. All right, back into motion mode, back into playing that motion, and then back into recording. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna move it up ever so slightly, jerk back, Go down a little, and there we go. It sounds a little more natural, a little less of a broken tape unit. Like the one I had before kind of sounded like bits of the tape were starting to stick to the playback head. We can mess with the delay time. Let's exit so we can see the delay time. It sounds really cool with different waveforms, especially the square wave. Anyway, I hope that really helps somebody out and that gets some ideas across to what you can do with the emotion sequencing on the Minilogue and some cool things you can do there. Thanks for watching.